What is up, people? Half Slab Bacon back with another episode in Bacon's World. So, guys, today's gonna be a maintenance day. Yeah. Because of this thing behind me. Yeah. We noticed a while back that it wasn't working quite right. And this is why I never put a tutorial out on it, guys. Is because I wanted to test it in survival first to make sure it was flawless, and it wasn't, because I made some stupid design choices. So we're gonna go into game mode 3 here, just so I can show you what we got going on. Because when I built it in my test world, these guys right here were something I didn't consider. So our timing was based on mobs, and I know it's... Can I, like... Is it possible to... No, not in spectator. Dang it, Bobby. It's dark. Sorry, guys. I'd hold a torch to get dynamic, but it's not possible on spectator. So, yeah, because my timing was based on mobs and I neglected to think about bats, we got this thing going on, and it's because this clock is slow enough to not double trip when mobs are going through, but if a bat flies through our tripwires, they're much faster, they're not impeded by water, and they set it off to get these ugly things going. Secondly, I put the observer in the wrong spot here. There should be an observer where a repeater is. This block should be dust, and that should be a repeater, just to kind of lengthen the signal. That is why in these spots we've got one that's empty and the others are running. Also, I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to make the switch silent and run all this redstone dust. It's completely unnecessary. So, also, it's a contributor to lag. Redstone dust next to pistons firing is one of the biggest lag contributors because it causes the most amount of block updates. So we're gonna have to get in here and redo. Let's just make sure, did I get my button? Did I get my button? We're gonna have to redo this whole thing. It's no good. Yeah. So pretty much thing, guys. I gotta go all the way to the top, and I am going to gut all this redstone wire that goes all the way up to the top up here. It's not service friendly for starters. Like, see what we got going on here with, like, what the... None of this is service friendly. So I figure I'm gonna lose all this and go all the way back to the bottom, and then once all this is out, climb to the top, and we're gonna repair the whole thing. Because, yeah, there's a lot of unnecessary design choices here that could have easily been avoided. We're gonna have to fill in some of this. Yeah, it's gonna take some time. So, see, with stuff like this, I mean, I have to break torches to get in to service it. Like, what was I thinking, guys? What was that? What was I thinking? So we're gonna switch to a torch tower. That's right, we're gonna switch to a torch tower so that this is actually serviceable, which means like areas like this can get cleaned up and put back to stone, because we're not going to need this. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. So I think I'll just clean all this up, and then I'll pop into creative and show you what we're doing, because I did redesign it in creative. And then once we're done, I'm pretty confident that I should have something functioning. And in the next week or two, you guys will get tutorials on all this. See? Sloppy design choices. Sloppy design choices, Bacon. Yeah. Also, on that note, on tutorials on other things, I have had some comments, questions, that kind of things that I wanted to address, guys. I am working on it. As I had mentioned, I'm having issues with noisy neighbors, and that's contributing to some of my issues. And in addition, I do like to test stuff before I do a tutorial to make sure that it's working. You know, even when something's 100% functional, guys, when you do a tutorial, you get enough comments from people that it's broken. Like, and I mean, like, I'll design something in 1.11 and I'll see comments on the page saying it's broken 1.11.2, which obviously is not the case. But, you know, those are comments from people that lack understanding of version changes and what they do in between version changes. Like, and for those of you that are listening that do lack an understanding in that regard, let me explain it for you now. So this is how it works in terms of snapshot and version changes. Minecraft, or Mojang, should I say, will change game mechanics in a snapshot. They will not change it in a stable version. So during snapshots, yes, something can break. If it's built in, say, 1.10, it may break in the 1.11 or 1.12 snapshots. If it breaks during those snapshots, it may get fixed by stable release, or it may stay broken. So let's say something I built in 1.10 breaks in the 1.11 snapshots. Okay, this happens. That's a thing. It happens. Now we go into 1.11 stable. So 1.11.0. It either stays frickin' broken, stays completely broken, or the other option is they fix it before 1.11 comes out. So those are the only two scenarios that you will ever see in terms of farms, etc. When 1.11.1 comes out, if it was broken in 1.11, it stays broken in 1.11.1, and it stays broken in 1.11.2, because they do not make major game mechanic changes during snapshots. They just don't. Or during stable releases. They just don't. That's the purpose of the snapshots. That's what those stuff and things are for. So what we end up having is a situation where I get stuck with a lot of extra questions and work even when things are working, guys, let alone when they're broken. So I do try, guys, to make sure that things are thoroughly tested in stable releases before I do a tutorial on them, so that they will stay working until at least, you know, the next snapshot. And in all honesty, I try to not base farm designs on bugs ever. I try to always revolve them around stable core game mechanics, so they don't even break in between game versions. That's why I stick with stuff like JL2579's design for the Iron Farm, because it is based on core game mechanics, not bugs, so it will never break. It has never broken, and it likely never will break because it's based on those core mechanics. I think that's important because I don't like spending my time in my world fixing things all the time. How far up does that go? That's double. And I wouldn't expect you to either. You know, if you take one of my designs and build it in your world, it should keep working. I think that's fair. Don't you guys think that's fair? I would expect that of me, and I see no reason why you guys shouldn't either. So yeah, I'm going to finish cleaning this up and getting it ready to rock, and I'll see you in creative in a couple minutes here. Okay guys, so I have made changes, and I think probably for the better of a tutorial. Now, the reason I have this wire here is basically because I'm mocking the exact way I'm going to lay it out in my farm. Like, so where I want the button to be in the outside world. It could just as easily be here. Your outside wall could easily be here. I just had that because that's how mine's going to play out, is this is where the button will be. But either way it works. Like, you can see if I hit here, it should retract in a sec. Yeah, see, there you go. So, the issue we were having, this is coming down here just to clean it up. I had it up before, so the button was silent, but really there's no purpose for that at all. For how often I'm going to hit the button to shut the mob farm off, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put all this at the bottom, just to keep it simpler, our on-off switch, and then just use a simple torch tower, which will be much cleaner, to go all the way up. And then our issue, so you can already see, let's go ahead and well, I'll explain this first bit here, but basically we had a block here, repeater there, and the old school format. You can see what I've done here is I've added a clock, but the way we had this before was we had this here on 4 ticks, which was enough time to prevent the mobs, and then we had a redstone dust there and repeater here like that. But then I went and derped it up in my survival world, and I went like this to put a repeater there and a block there, which works, but the main point to having the repeater over here instead is to slow down the pulse so it gets every single dropper every single time, so we get it consistently. So I should have had that there. Now, that still wouldn't help with the issue with the bats. I believe the bats can still run freely through these tripwires, no problem. So what I've gone and done is I've changed it from this format to adding a clock on here. So we're going to leave those in that place, and instead of having a 4-tick delay, we're going to use a comparator clock. So what you'll see now is when the redstone depowers, yeah, and that'll shut our water streams off, as you can see. So it's going to slow down a little bit, just a little bit, but it's also going to slow down enough that it will prevent the bats from being able to screw up the system, which is kind of the important part. So now we just have to get up there and rewire it all. Yay! Alright, so I've torn out all the things here. So our button's going to be where that torch is. Remember, we had it facing out in this early direction, and I want to keep it there. That's why the redstone torch, because if I ran it this way, I'd have to move the whole ladder. Not that it wouldn't work, but also then I'd have to leave my torch tower exposed, and it's much more efficient to have the torch tower in this location here. So I've dug that out to work accordingly. Now what we're going to need is, if I remember correctly, and I might derp this up a little bit, guys, but, you know, it's a thing. So what we're gonna need here, let's just grab all the things, I'll grab my food after, is we're gonna need this to go into a repeater, and then we're gonna have, no, not that. We're gonna have our piston here. So we're gonna wanna fill in our piston and protect our pistons. And then we're actually gonna want that to go into this block, okay? And then we're gonna want that to go up to that block up in here. So what's gonna happen, let's put our button down for demonstration purposes, where it actually will be, is when we push it, that's gonna go up. Now what we need is our torch tower's going right here, right? So we need that to push out a block that toggles on our torch tower. And I'm just thinking, I did this wrong. I'm gonna have to take this out because I want that block over here. So that needs to go in this early direction. And then wait, that needs to go in this early direction. So that's going to come up, it's going to power the block, which is going to power our piston here. This will be much easier if I just kind of wreck all this and move it out while we're doing this. It can get closed in once we're done. That's not going to be a problem. But then what we're going to have is that will move the redstone dust. It'll toggle it back and forth. You can see how by using the double piston setup, it gives it a 1-tick pulse, so it leaves the block behind, or it retracts it back. Look at this idiot. He's trying to get in to murder my face. Heh, moron. Okay guys, so very close, but not quite. Was this visible from the other side? No, why wouldn't I have a block there protecting? I mean, this one has to be stone, and that one has to be stone. Actually, that one does not have to be stone. I don't think that one does either, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I had where that torch was filled in with blocks. So yeah. Yeah, I did. So I can leave that like so. Just that individual block needs to... Anyways, I digress. So I actually wanted it going out this way so that it goes into a solid space. And I was actually thinking what I will do is, just to make extra sure we're preventing mob spawns whenever possible, I'm even going to open that up and leave a light there. And then it can get closed off from that side completely. So what's going to happen is this is just going to go into a torch tower. Right here is where we're going to start our torch tower. Now, I hadn't thought I'm going to have to replace stuff on the way up, which is going to be a pain in the pooper. So, yeah, something like this. And then that guy will go there. Now, I can use this wall to just kind of toggle up just fine. I'm mainly concerned about, like, lighting on this end, right? But by doing stuff like that, we should be fine. I can put one there to be extra sure. And that'll also keep my torch tower completely hidden, which I'm happy with. So literally this is going to be it till we get to the first layer, and then we're going to change the pattern from there. So I'm just going to have to keep doing this all the way up. Yeah. Okay, torch tower is all the way up, and I even went... Wait, what? Oh, that's just to block me falling off the floors. So I even put a torch, regular torch, beside each torch, because I'm sure some of you would say something about lighting updates. It's not really a thing, because it's not going to be turned on or off very often. But now what we need to do is make sure these are in sync, right? so that they're always, always, always hitting in the same spot. And we're going to accomplish that by staggering our torch towers. Like, we'll eliminate the food. No, wait. I shouldn't need the half slab, so we'll do it this way. By doing it like so. Okay? This is going to be the plan. So that each level should be on at the same time. Now, in cases like this, I'm going to double it up. Just again, as people have asked in the past, why do you do all this block work? It's so that I don't have to worry about accidentally digging into my redstone in future. Now what we should see is when we do it this way, that one down there is powered and that is powered. So as long as we keep this pattern, they should stay in sync, so to speak. So I'm going to double that up, put one there, torch there. Let's go up to the next level. Whoop, went too far. Slow down there, Bacon. Slow down. Okay, so right there. Fill those in with blocks to protect our torch. Another block here. Another torch, and again, repeater. So all these lines will be powered at the same time, and conveniently, I'm not blocking my own walkway anymore, which is very important for service. And it'll be easier for you guys to understand, I think, because you see what's going on kind of deal up till we get to this point. So that was another major concern for me, is when you guys download my worlds, I do want them to be easy to follow. I mean, I sometimes forget when I go to bury stuff like that. Like, that might work for me because I know it's there, but when you come into my world, then you might not be able to see what's going on, and you might have to go into spectator, and that's no good for you. So again, should be able to put that there, torch there, block that off, so on and so forth. And each one should be able to get a repeater, blocks the line. Yeah, I'm going to finish this, and then we're going to start on fixing all the water. Okay, so power is all the way up. Now, every single floor at this stage should be flooded with water, right? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to break that repeater, completely eliminate, that component of the build. I'm going to do one floor at a time, and then I'm going to have to manually check and make sure every single piece of water component is where it should be. So this is tripwire here, so we've got no room to work there whatsoever, right? So what I'm actually going to have to do to make this feasible is I'm going to have to expand this out a bit. So it's going to come out like so on each level. So we have room for our clock, which means I've got to fill all this in naturally, right? And of course, you know I'm going to do all these walls because that's how I roll. Everything's got to be pretty. This will give me service access on each floor in the future. Should I decide to change something again? Yeah, I'll probably just leave a torch like there. And then what we want to do from this stage is we're going to actually have our comparator is going to go out this way, and we're going to pull a little tomfoolery, trickerish stuff and things here, because what we're going to do is we're going to add a block here, so this is going to have to go as well. There. So pretty. Now the torch can actually just go there. Every floor is going to get this wraparound treatment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our repeaters up here. And we're going to do this like they should be. So moving forward, when I put the observer down, it's going to go from a repeater into the line like it should have been to start with. Now we're going to use a block here, and we're going to use some redstone dust here. Okay? And then what you're going to see is pretend the observer's here, so it would pulse whenever this change is rising or falling edge, right? So what we're going to see is, well, here, we'll put it there. It might mean more work for me fixing this after, but we'll put it there just to demonstrate. So you hear that. Now what's going to happen is when all the mobs are off the system, when this is on, you can see the clock slowly starting to pulse, and then that's going to pulse the whole system, right? So every single floor is going to get this treatment here, and then after I'm done that, this is the part that sucks. Oh, I can't do that. Yeah, cannot do that. Dummy. Way to go, dummy. Is I'm going to have to check every single one of these floors like so, to make sure the water is in fact all on. So I'm going to lose a bunch of blocks doing this. It's going to be a thing. I thought I had one in my inventory. So what I essentially intend on doing is just to quick fix these when one of them is completely off. Like on this floor, it looks like just the one is off, right? So if I do that, it does the whole thing. No good. Right? But if I were to break a line, then I'm only going to get one. Now we can see the whole floor is off, right? There's nothing in there. So now, if I place the redstone dust back... Dang it, Bobby! Ha-ha! You see, there's the culprits right there. That's what I failed to think of. But we'll fix them. We'll fix them good. Actually, it's going pretty smooth. When I'm not doing it off camera, it doesn't take too long. So I'm just, doing this on every floor, making sure they're all switched off, so that when we get down to the bottom, we should have absolutely no spawns whatsoever. I did forget to consider looking directly at that block, but yeah, I'm also making sure the torch placement's pretty much identical everywhere up here, so it should be fine. Like, this should be here. That should be here, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, forgot these. See, that's no good. But whatever. I don't really care. That cave back there, we're going to convert eventually anyways. Is this the last floor, then? I think that's the last floor, guys. It appears to be, and all these are half slab. So we can get off. We can't fall because I've put in blocks there. And yeah, you can see what's going on all floors. This is all lit up to minimize lighting updates. I even went as far as there's a light above that. As you can see, that's not good the way I placed it, so we'll put it there. So there's a light protecting that block space. And there's a light by every torch. And yeah, all is good up in here. Everything's well lit. We should have no issues. And we should be able to come out here. I have no idea where I was hearing the spider. Who knows? Spiders can be anywhere. But we have no mob drops whatsoever going on up in here. I do believe we had this like so, and then did we have that one there? and another one there. I feel like that might have been like that. Yeah, I feel like that might have been like that. Either way, we'll leave it that way. Let's grab. So now we're back to having one that actually shuts on and off. This I'm so happy about, because our stuff is going to fill up to the point where, like, I'm going to need this. No spawns, guys. Working completely. Now, if we push the button, we'll actually hear it change. Let's get our chicken while we wait for the show, shall we? That's not what I meant to do. I meant to eat chicken. And if we stand back here, we should eventually see the numbnuts start to drop. Wait for it. Wait for it. Alright guys, so I cleaned up my inventory and, you know, just ran around the base, logged in, logged out, that kind of thing. Just to get her fired back up, and she seems to be working good. I did wait a little bit and I flicked the switch on and off to toggle it to confirm. It does indeed toggle on and off correctly again. All the droppers are firing as should be, and the bats are no longer able to mess with them, which is amazeballs. That's what I wanted to begin with. I just should have considered those bats. So, I mean, I think I've got it about as compact as this system can be. I might change the layout just to compact like the bottom of it a little bit finer for tutorial sake, but other than that, I mean, it's good, right? Like, really, the reason I went with the layout I did in terms of the clock down here is my button placement. So I'll clean that up for tutorial. This is exactly how I want it though, guys. I mean, there we go. Not an extremely fast trickle, but a good trickle, so that as we're walking by, we see the idiots falling to their death and us getting all the goodies. And whenever my chesticles get full, I can just shut her off. I'm happy with it, guys. I think we're ready to go on the tutorial for this, and I'm going to try and pump out tutorials in the coming weeks as well. I do want to point out I have a new work contract starting this week that might change my schedule around a little bit in the coming weeks, but this is a good one that might be looking like a permanent thing, semi-permanent at the very least, and should provide me with a steady schedule. So once the dust settles, we should hopefully be back to a steady YouTube schedule, guys. So just wanted to fill you in. I'll let you know more as I find out. As always, guys, smash that like if you enjoyed the episode to help others like yourself who might enjoy the content find the channel. And if you're new and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more videos, peeps, because we do awesome stuff like this all the time. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.